Hey friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. This week I've been spending time with the 2015 Nissan Rogue, also known as the XTrail in other parts of the world. It's one of the most popular compact crossover SUVs in its class, competing against the Toyota RAV4, Ford Escape, and the Honda CR-V, just to name a few. Now, we just test drove this about a year ago, but we spent most of that test drive on the pavement. This time, we're going to take it out here in the desert and get it a little bit dirty. Our 2015 Rogue SV front-wheel drive tester showed up with the same all-new styling which made its debut on the 2014 model. Sharp and angular design defines the Rogue with a more masculine shape than before and than many of its competitors have. Up front is the brand's V-Motion grille treatment frame with halogen headlamps with integrated LED daytime running lights. You can step up to the SL to get fog lights, and optional still are LED self-leveling headlamps. The SV features 17-inch alloy wheels with relatively tall 225/65 R17 tires. Features like roof rails are standard here, which raise the overall profile of the Rogue. At the rear, a power liftgate and rear view camera come by way of the SV Premium package. Inside, that premium package brings a number of key features like its 7-inch color display infotainment system with navigation and the popular all-around view monitor that could display a 360-degree bird's eye view all around the vehicle. Also included are handy driving aids like lane departure warning and blind spot monitor with moving object detection. All of these features perform quite well and can be turned off if you don't want them on. The cloth under seats was pleasing to the eye and felt sturdy. Front seats are heated with the driver getting power adjustments. The steering wheel tilts and telescopes, as well as offers up a plethora of controls for infotainment and instrument cluster displays. Dash design is also pleasing to the eye, especially with the two-tone treatment here. Material quality is top of class in my opinion, both in the trims as well as the switchgear that has a tactile feel and smart layout overall. The center stack is simple to use with controls laid out within easy reach. A smartphone pad is down low up front with auxiliary and USB inputs right on cue. You can also of course connect up to the infotainment system with Bluetooth and use voice activated operations. Rear seat passengers here will enjoy plenty of room both in space as well as a comfortable position. The rear seat back rate can be adjusted, as can the lower seat cushion position. There are HVAC vents for rear passengers too, something not all competitors have. Those seats of course fold down near flat with a 60/40 split quite easily, offering up a nicely sized cargo space. Ours didn't have the third row seat option, thus it came with a divide and hide cargo system which has extra space below the floor. You can configure it in a variety of ways to suit your needs, whether it be a lower floor area or a hidden storage compartment, and below that resides a spare tire, something you will lose if you option that third row seat. Powering the 2015 Nissan Rogue is a 170 horsepower 4-cylinder engine which comes exclusively with a constantly variable transmission with both an eco and a sport mode. No manual transmission is offered here. This engine actually has what I would call adequate power for this class. It's the only engine available in the Rogue, and it's pretty much right in line with most of its competitors in terms of horsepower. But like a lot of competitors, it only comes with a constantly variable transmission, or CVT. Now, honestly, not a big fan of this CVT. I don't care for the rubber band feel, like it never quite shifts. This one, though, does have a few bones to throw to the enthusiast driver who likes that feeling of a traditional transmission. Not only does it have a sport mode, which, well, offers up some fake computer-created shift points, so where you have that sensation in the sound that you're getting a shift, but it even does that on occasion in normal everyday driving, even in eco mode. Now, does it feel exactly like an automatic transmission? No, but if you have to live with a CVT, this is one of the better ones out there. The EPA rates the Nissan Rogue as tested at 26 mpg city, 33 mpg highway, and 28 mpg combined, which is precisely what we achieved in our week with it, even with the AC on at all times. It's offered in both front-wheel drive, as our tester is, as well as an all-wheel drive capability. The chassis features McPherson struts up front and a multi-link suspension at the rear with 4-wheel disc brakes all around. Out on the highway and on the paved roads, this actually has a very nice, solid, refined, and quiet ride. It's very smooth. The steering has a nice, precise feel, which is, well, it's a nice step up in this class, I think. I've driven almost every one of the competitors out there, and well, there's some very good ones out there. Some of them don't have this feeling of quality from behind the wheel that this one does. One thing I love to do is bring a vehicle like this out on the desert washboard road. It's not true off-roading, but it's a great way to test how well put together this vehicle is and how well tuned the suspension is to offer up both on-road capability and handling, as well as, well, the kind of robust driving experience we expect from an SUV. And what I'm finding here is it's very capable out here. It does have a pretty stiff suspension that, while it's softer than some out here, it does offer up a little vibration, a little bit of rattling and shaking here on the interior trim. It's not as bad as some, but not as good as some either. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is, on these curves, woo, just like right there, this tail is a little bit on the happy side. It really kind of likes to kick out. Now, this does have stability control like most of these vehicles do, but it doesn't step in quite as quickly. It lets that tail sort of start to edge out a little bit before it really steps in. Woo! Just like that. It steps in, but it kind of gives you a little bit of a white knuckle moment if you're not expecting it. The stability control I mentioned essentially acts when it detects the vehicle beginning to slide and applies the brakes automatically to certain wheels to arrest it. Every manufacturer has a different way of tuning these systems, and road conditions always have a role in how well they work. Now, if you get off the desert washboard road onto a little bit more of a, well, off-road trail, this does have ground clearance to actually take you there. Now, obviously, you're not going to go rock crawling whether you have front-wheel drive or the all-wheel drive, because it's really not geared for that. But it does have enough ground clearance that you can actually go off and explore just a little bit with some credibility. It feels very maneuverable out here, and the suspension is soft enough that it gives you just enough articulation that you're not going to feel like you're doing something you shouldn't in this vehicle. The Nissan Rogue has a ground clearance of 7.4 inches in our front-wheel drive model and a bit more at 7.6 inches for the all-wheel drive version. In both cases, the Rogue is not meant to be a full-on off-roader, but offers more ability than a common sedan. When it comes to safety, the 2015 Nissan Rogue achieves a top safety pick rating from the IIHS, as it achieves good ratings in their full battery of crash tests. Top Safety Pick Plus status requires the availability of a more advanced suite of crash avoidance features, which Nissan will offer in the 2016 Rogue. Finishing up for the Nissan Rogue, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed, just as I was last year when we test drove the 2014 model. Looking at this one, that price right there reflects SV model front-wheel drive with an option package. And I think as equipped, it's very competitive, and that price right there for what it has is spot on. Also spot on, the fuel economy. 28 mpg for the week, that's what I achieved city and highway, and exactly what the window sticker promises. Always a good thing. Now, as we look at the stars, the different areas where I judge it against its competitors, it does very well too. The only areas it doesn't get to 5 stars, the powertrain. I'm not a big fan of the CVT. That's just where it's at. Also, the chassis gets a little bit rougher than I'd like out there on the washboard road, but overall, we're at 4.5 stars for the week. Very good. I'm Sam Haymar for Test Driven TV. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Well, folks, if you like the test drive you just saw, click on the link right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We test drive 1, sometimes 2 cars every week, and we put up a new video almost every single day. News, features, Motoring Monday, and other fun stuff. So there's always something new. So stay tuned.